What is going on, good people? Welcome to another exciting episode of GFT Radio. I'm your guest host, even though I'm the one of the panelists. Dang, and we got my boy over here, Hype.
Yo,
That's
what's up, y'all? My bad, the little girl has completely blown up the whole situation right
you
now.
know, I just came back because my kids did the same thing. So my kids are better than yours because they got better timing.
That's love.
So
Okay, we're not getting juice though. It's too late for that. Here, have some milk. My bad.
you good? Be a parent, man. That's what we're here for. Grown Folks Talk Radio. We get to see you be a parent. But while you do that, I want to get up the topic of what's going on today. What is hot today is the Little Mermaid. How we had triggered the people who hate us the most.
See, all right. So the Little Mermaid controversy. Like I stated, I wasn't fully, completely up on it. I know enough to have a conversation though. So basically, with all of these situations, are always turning into these days are the representation. If you put something out there that hasn't been the norm for the situation, like they've been saying for years, as far as let's make Stringer, let's make Idris Elba, James Bond. That will turn it into a whole nother audience because now you'll be able to get the black people there. When you say let's have a openly gay whatever type of characters, like they was trying to do that with Frozen too. Let's have an openly gay character on Frozen that turns it into
Elsa,
something else. I ain't know which one of them it was. My daughter, like I said this a while ago, my daughter, my oldest daughter, her birthday is in January. Her Frozen decoration stayed up until about August. Okay, so I know
just
all
like
about
mine.
Frozen. Seen Frozen a million times. Let it go.
Yep, her,
All of that.
her favorite one is her favorite song is "Let It Go" from the first one.
This is how much we watched Frozen with my oldest daughter. My wife said Jeezy should use the sample. Do you want to build a snowman? That'll be hot though. He should have did that, but them Disney rights be something crazy. But yeah, like it's all about representation. When they made Black Panther, they made black people go out there and see that. When you do all of those different things, it's to spark up that controversy, but to build that anticipation that makes people hit the button, or instead of hitting the button, they're buying the ticket. So either people are going to go there to protest it, or they're going to go there to support it. But guess what? They're all going to go there, and it's going to be the number one situation when it comes out.
Um, they had mixed feelings about this. They hated the idea when they first casted the actress for the Little Mermaid. It was uproar about it from the get go. But now that I guess it's so close to being coming out,
Reality. Yeah.
yeah, when it's they actually see it, they can't have it like this. And it's actually funny because people are outraged and actually using ironically. Now, what would happen if we infiltrated your industry and did and recasted some of the characters in your industry? Y'all have already done that. I won't go by Cleopatra. Number one, no, Cleopatra was not white. I don't care how much you like Elizabeth Taylor.
Jesus is not white. I'm not even a Christian, and I can go. We can go all the way to that one. I'm a Muslim. Jesus
We can go
wasn't black.
biblical. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
white dude. The white dude with the hair in that picture is not Jesus. That is some white dude in the picture with the hair. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
a it's the savior complex. Blue eyes, blonde hair.
Yeah, copy. That's not what anybody looked like in the desert.
Um, yeah, they said his hair was like wool. Can't be. How Jesus gonna have a perm? Come on now.
You
So
can't name, as my man once said, you can't name no nigga baby blanket. Not comforter quilt, none of that shit.
yeah, yeah, but they gave a whole bunch. This one TikToker gave at least a good 15-minute video of how black people and people of color actually were portrayed um, by white people. It was a good 15 minutes, and she said the list can go on even longer. But we got Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that anime series.
I wish I would have seen that TikTok.
Oh, it's on as we like to say, join the conversation on a Facebook group. You can join us. Please like, share, subscribe on our shows. Um, what it's a show that comes on every Tuesday. Can't
That
come out.
is the How to Hustle podcast with Hype. It's available on all streaming platforms. We only accept 5 stars, not four. Um, we only accept those 5 stars on all streaming platforms. Wherever they will let you leave a 5 star, or you can just tune in every Tuesday, 2 o'clock on the GFC Radio Network, so that you can find out whatever Hype is hustling that week. Now, the
That,
crazy thing though would be, let's flip this. What if they did do a white version of like Boys in the Hood or Menace? How would we feel about that? Because that's what they're. Even though we all know mermaids ain't real and all of that, so that's where you lose me with the, oh, how are you gonna make a black mermaid the same way you made a white one? They're not real. We're making it up as we go along. But if they did Boys in the Hood or Menace or The Wood or Baby Boy or uh, what was the other one? Any of those movies, if they do any of those movies, the brothers, as the little girls coming back up the steps, the brothers, if they do any of these movies with a white cast, how will we feel? Like, talk to me about that one, Dane.
no,
If the
because
if the
one of
brothers
our
is
one of our
four
great
white dudes,
producers.
how do we feel?
No, because one of our great producers has not seen this movie, but he knows every line. I just pictured an all-white cast of the Five Heartbeats. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if that's Gary Owen, Will Sasso, uh, I don't know, what's my
You know what?
man, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, like.
You know
What
what?
if what
Uh,
if instead of the hangover, like I said, instead of the hangover, they do Boys in the Hood? Like, how would we feel about that?
Mark Wahlberg as Nino Brown.
That's what I'm saying. Mark Wahlberg and the Carter. But like the whole thing with the situation is, if we're gonna keep it all the way real about these different situations, the person who usually comes up with this idea is usually the black person. But we're not in a position to be able to get those ideas pitched. You pitched your idea. Same thing, like if you take it back to The Wire, season 1, when D'Angelo was talking to Wallace and he tell him, yo, man, whoever made the Nuggets is you think I gotta be rich. The nigga who made the Nuggets is still working in the basement at McDonald's somewhere, thinking of some shit to make the fries taste better. Because the nigga who made the nuggets ain't getting shit, but Ronald McDonald's ass is making billions off these nuggets. The person who comes up with that creative idea also went to school with the other dude, and this dude was his man, and he grew up across the street from him, and all of those different connections that you don't have, they then take advantage of it and run with all of those ideas. So if we're gonna talk about the mermaid and, oh my god, how could they make a black one? Well, why wouldn't you want to make a black one? Because you can make more money doing it like that, because now you get the black audience that comes out and says, go ahead, we got a black one. Stupid if
Man,
you argue against that. If you're in the business world, like I am at Custom Hustle World on Instagram, Custom Hustle Co on Twitter, custom jackets, jerseys, all of that, sweatsuits, baby jackets, baby jerseys.
yeah, it's kind of funny you say that because I'm thinking they actually made another video of TV shows that, all right, you want to start this, right? They made why am I getting interrupted during the show now? Like my kids have horrible timing, just like yours. Um, so
Imagine if we had white kids, they would come in screaming the shit out of us and all of that. But go ahead.
she would, but I like the door. Um, no, they made a show, made spoofs of a black key man. They made a what would happen if they took over Golden Girls, a black spoof of Golden Girls. I would actually watch that.
A bunch of old black chicks will be way funnier than a bunch of old. Like,
You know, but I give that show credit. That show was actually pretty good. For at this time, you're a little bit younger than me, so you
I mean, I
probably
got
missed
TV
some.
then.
No, but the drama with the Little Mermaid is kind of ridiculous. They no, it's the same people who scream uh Karen. So I'm not going to give them any thought. It's just like it's a fantasy show, fantasy movie. You're
Yeah,
getting upset over a fantasy and fictitious character. Where's your
that's why I
priority?
said, if we all we if we like, again, you can't always assume that we all agree on any of these things. But if majority of us agree that this is a fictitious thing in general. Like you have never, I've been to the beach a billion times in my life. I've never been fishing. Like, I've seen the joint come up with all of the different crabs and all of that in it. I've never seen a mermaid in one. So like, I mean, that's just me. So I don't never know if they black, they white, they're whatever language they speak. I don't know any of that. All I'm saying though is if you're in the business world, why would you cut your nose to spite your face if you know that there's more money to be made to get into a market and tap into something that you never had before? That would only expand the business. You're not looking at this thing black white, you're looking at it as green only, and this is the thing that turns it into a number one movie. Like you said, we're having a conversation about this shit right now. We would have never had this conversation if the Little Mermaid was Taylor Swift or who the fuck ever. I don't even know.
It would have been a perfect movie then. Taylor Swift.
But it wouldn't have created any conversation. It wouldn't have built in any anticipation. It would have just came out and you would have heard about like, oh, I didn't even know they made that. How many times do you hear about won an Oscar or Emmy or whatever the fuck it is? You've never even heard of this movie. Like you thinking like it's just shit Boys in the Hood or fucking Four Brothers. If we're gonna use Mark Wahlberg again, you thinking this shit was the best movie of the year, not whatever the fuck this was.
True, true. So, um, I'm sorry, they keep bothering me. I don't like leave me alone. I'm doing the show. So there's a question: why do you think little a black mermaid is important, or do you even care?
It's not even about the mermaid, it's about the representation. It's always about representation when you're doing these different things. The example that I always give people of how I even got started like in the media world was Martin and Stuart Scott. Martin on his show is doing a radio show where he's just cracking jokes, talking to Stan and Sean the whole damn time. In my 8-year-old mind and my 6-year-old mind, it's like, yeah, but somebody's job really is to do that. Then they put Stuart Scott on Sports Center, and that goes, oh, so it's not just Rich Eisen, Keith Overman, and all of these white dudes. They got a black dude on here, and he's giving out lyrics from songs and shit that you can relate to. It gave
Boom
you the
chakalaka.
representation. Yeah, it gave you the idea that I can do this shit too because I see somebody has done it. If you see somebody do that shit, it makes you believe that you can do it because it can't be that hard. It's not that far fetched of an idea. If you just heard about though stories about the shit happening and never physically saw it yourself, never got to reach out and touch it, then it's just stories.
So, got a question for you: is representation really important, or is it ownership?
Representation is important if you talk about inspiring that, like I said, as a 6 year old, I'm inspired by Martin doing a radio show on the show. The thing that you always got to realize is you never know who you're going to hit, how you're going to hit whoever it is with whatever it is that you're doing. Don't ever just think that I'm doing a 9 to 5 and nobody gives a shit. I'm not making a dent in the world because the little boy, little girl across the street is going, man, look at Mr. Dame. He got up every day and he's making this shit happen. So you can't never look at the situation like the representation isn't important because the representation could be everything to the right individual. It's a case by case situation. Now, if you talking not having it a black and white situation and all we're talking about is the money and the power of the situation, then yeah, it's all about how much turn and profit you can get. Well, you only it's only that though once you're in business. If you're not in business, then you don't give a fuck about the turn and profit. I don't give a fuck what the company made that I work for, as long as my check is there.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go to music. Because it's a lot of representation for whites, but the ownership of the music, a lot of the music came from blacks. So
No,
that
it's a lot of representation of blacks, but the ownership is the white people. The ownership, the dude who owns the company, the dude who's making all of the fucking money, is the white boy. It's not the dude who's making the song, the dude who made the beat. It's the dude who owns the masters. It's the dude who owns the studio. It's the dude who owns the stage. He's the one making all the real money.
no, no, no. I'm talking about, yeah, good point. I'm talking about the people who come up with the idea for the lyrics, the song, the beats. They come up with it, but you don't know who. Elvis stole a whole bunch of black people's music and moves, but you don't know. But a lot of people don't know that.
And see, the funny thing about that though is them things people be selective in what they want to know.
Yeah.
See, a kid like me in school is what I always tell you. Like now that my kids are, it don't matter what school you send them to if they don't give a fuck. Either they care or they don't. You can't care enough for them though. if it's something that I want to know, I'm gonna go through all of the research possible to find out. Learning who won whatever fucking war in England in 1861 didn't do anything for me. I didn't care. I wasn't trying to be a history buff, so it don't matter what that information was unless it was pertaining to something that I wanted to know or was trying to figure out. Sometimes you read different stories and shit, and you go, "Damn, I want to know a little more about that." But
Shrug emotion.
most of that shit is like it's I don't care. It's not pertaining to me. Like you said, the representation and all of that. This shit isn't something that I can physically see or I can relate to. This shit is just a story, and I'm cool on learning that story because I want to learn about the time that, like you said, Elvis stole the idea from this dude, or James Brown got blackballed, or all of those different artists and all of that different shit. Like Ray Charles, you knew they was gonna be robbing Ray Charles because he was blind, he couldn't see the shit. So you knew they was gonna tell him one number and it was gonna really be another number. But this is just how business works.
Right.
Sad to say, but you have to kind of accept it because that's just the way of the world. Ain't nothing we can do about that shit.
Yeah. Stealing ideas from the people who can't afford to do anything about the ideas being stolen against the guys who own whatever.
Plus, the thing though, with those things are people never play the long game. Some if you go to somebody, this is how gentrification happens. We come to somebody who's never had anything and say, "Yo, I'm gonna give you 60,000 in cash for your house." They take the 60,000 every time. They take the 70,000 every time because they never had anything. Now they don't realize that unless you're gonna drop that whole 60 or 70, you can't buy another house. Nothing nice. You know what I'm saying? You could drop a dime and you can get a house, but you ain't gonna get like what you got in your head is like, oh my God, I got all this money. You're gonna go buy a car, you're gonna go waste some money on a trip, like you're gonna just go buy some shit. You're not gonna have anything there. But the person who gave you that 60 grand, they're gonna put another 10, 12 into this house and they're gonna sell that motherfucker for 4 million. Like
Right. Because they've been there before. They don't understand the stakes. And the person, you're basically dangling a carrot in front of somebody who's starving. They're like, wow, this is more than I've seen ever in my life. So
yeah.
let me jump on this.
Yeah, the fuck the slow cook roast in the oven. Nigga, they got carrots right now.
So we
What do
got,
you think about what do you think about that though? What do you think about the representation and all of that?
I think representation is very important because inspires people like me and you to do better, to go out, reach out to do something that we want to do and represent us in something that we like to do, and maybe we can, there's always a come up. You help bring somebody else up. You inspire somebody else because somebody might be catered toward my personality or your personality, and they be like, you know what, I could be just like them. You know, we can inspire more people to like us.
The fucked up mentality that we got though is most of us don't reach back to help out the next person. Either one, we don't reach back, or two, the other person doesn't reach the fuck to try. People that have too much pride like to say, "Oh, Dame bought another house. That nigga think he better than me." Man ain't said nothing about being better than you. That man is making moves to make shit better for him and his family. He ain't thinking about you. Now you could have easily went to your man, your friend, your cousin, or whatever, and said, "How did you do that? How can I do that?" But people be having too much pride to even ask the person who's doing it, which is stupid. Oh damn, she
And I
bugging on
think
me again.
yeah, and I think sometimes when it come up, some people forget how to reach back or how to interact from their past. Because you're moving forward. You're moving forward. You're moving toward the future. And sometimes it's kind of hard to look back and like try to help out the lesser ones who aren't there yet. But
My
how
bad,
does
she's right here.
representation make you feel about you and your family?
Oh, so say that again. My bad. Got a lot going on in my background.
I understand. I said so. The next topic was how does the representation make you and your family feel? Um, but for me, was there a
So my
particular character that inspired me in my life? I wasn't very. I was very athletic, and I watch certain people in my life do certain things like playing basketball. Everybody would be like Mike. I took on his aggression and his way to doing things playing basketball. I couldn't score like him, but I can do certain things. Not as great, but he was my inspiration on a basketball court. Speaking wise, I watch a lot of public speakers and take after them. People who had a good presence about themselves when they're on a stage or a platform, the way they hold themselves, how they use gestures, voice modulation um, to hold the audience. I kind of gravitate towards people like that, and especially good comedians who can tell a good story. Like Sinbad, funny. He had the best. He's one of the funniest comedians that's underrated to me from the '80s and '90s. So,
All right, so
but
go ahead.
no. Somebody asked me as a fictional character representation. There wasn't a lot of black characters I actually cater to growing up. Sadly, because we had this one cartoon called Cops. There's a black police chief named Bulletproof. It was nothing. It was nothing cool about him, but him being bulletproof. I'm like, I don't know.
I ain't got no probably no fictional characters uh that inspire me. The things that inspire me is like people that bet on themselves, people that work hard, people that got drive, determination. Like that's the type of shit that inspires me. That's the type of shit that is like I want to be around that. I want to know what you're doing that I don't know about. Cause that's one of them things that we was just talking about the reach back situation was you gotta understand when somebody has more knowledge than you and be smart enough to shut up and take the knowledge. Don't be so stubborn, stupid, and just I'm gonna do it my way because this my way. Maybe your way don't work, and maybe you'll know that by asking this person who already has gone through that. Just because that's their experience doesn't mean that you always run with 100% of what they do, but you do homework on that situation. When I did my first live show, I watched other people's live shows. I listened to other people's live shows to get a gauge of how it was that they were doing it, what I liked and what I didn't like, to go into the situation prepared, not just go up there and wing it and say, "All right, let's see how this turns out." No, because I want everybody to leave out of here saying, "Shit, I got to be at the next one. I got to be at the next one." You got to
You
do
know
your
what?
homework in all of those different situations.
You know what? I do have one fictional character I forgot about. Billy D. Williams in Star Wars. He was the ladies' man, but I forgot about that. I know one of my producers, Cosby, was no, not Will, but Smooth. He Cosby was one of his characters. Cosby Show, Family Man. But we're gonna wrap it up because
See, even like that, that was that representation in 1984 when I think that show came out. That representation was everything to show you, yes, you can have a successful black family. Yes, we don't have to be like the Jeffersons on welfare, living in the projects. Yeah, we can be successful. We can have a nice family. We can have a non-toxic situation, which is what we seem to always get these days on TV. We need a new fucking Bill Cosby, knew my wife and kids or something like that to show these niggas like this is possible and this is something that people are doing out in the world.
all right. So we're gonna wrap this show up, and we'll catch you guys another episode of GFT Radio and whatever topics we have. And check us out on Twitter on Tuesdays. Hi, this is yours.
How to Hustle podcast with Hype every Tuesday, 2 p.m. on the GFT Radio Network. You follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Hype. That's HYMPE. Is Hype. It's not hype. I'm not geeked up. My cleaning company is at H2H Cleaning. It's a tri-state area situation, but if you make it worth my while, I will slide.
So it's me now. Um, Screenshot it, take a picture. This is
It's your
me.
boy.
This is my information, and we'll holler at y'all later. Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Respected, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFTRadioshow.com.